Hi, everyone. This session is the Insights Tech Showcase. Before I hand it on over to John, I just want to remind you about that Q&A box. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them there and we'll get to them at the end. John, I'll now hand it on over to you.
Thank you, Bridget. Hello, everybody. My name is John Bird, and I'm responsible for client development here at Infotools. Harmoni is our analysis and reporting platform purpose-built for market research data, so we support all the craziness with sample-based data. So, stat testing, dealing with complex bases, weighting, stack data, multi-level data, access control, low base sizes, et cetera. And a lot of what we do leverages automation. And a lot of it's just kind of happening in the backgrounds. And at a high level, Harmoni has automation across the entire platform. So on the data loading and shaping side, we automate data loads with an API connection. We connect to platforms like Qualtrics, Decipher, SurveyMonkey, et cetera. We also have a first pass automation, which automatically maps source variables such as headings, axes. It takes grids. It takes common questions and collapses them into grids, for example. Measures, dealing with weights, multi-response, and pulling in verbatims. And then updates, when a new data file is loaded, they take minutes. Changes between data files are highlighted in the project tree, which I'll show you. But if new brands come into a market, they're automatically highlighted, so you ensure yourself that you're addressing these changes. And then on the analysis side, clients love our suite of smart analytics, and I'll show you both two of them, Discover and our Fair Share tool. And then on the reporting side, stories and dashboards, once these are all set up, updates are automatic. And then we also have alerts functionality. These can be triggered when there's a significant change in the data or if a specific threshold is passed. So if you say, give me a warning if my net promoter score goes above 5, once it hits that, an email link goes out, looping you back into the data. And then finally, I'm going to talk about some development we have with what we're calling Chat Harmony, which is our private environment currently with OpenAI and Chat GPT-4. So half of what we hear from our clients is tied to automation, primarily that time savings of between 30 and 50%. A lot of that data automation is at setup. But on the updates, there are also significant savings driven by automation. So having dashboards or monthly reports, board reports, tables, scorecards, et cetera, when a new set of data is loaded in, all these reports are updated, and I'll show you that live. And secondly is kind of ad hoc requests. It's more of a process automation, but clients speak highly of this. It's the ability to go directly into the data and get an answer versus saying, hey, Bob, can you pull left-handed female mountain bikers in Boulder, Colorado and get that back to me? And have the supplier, they have to run through their DP process and get it back to you. Could take hours, could take days, could take weeks. So those are kind of the high-level values our clients see. And for today, I'm really going to focus on 3 areas. One's the analysis tool. So this gives full access to the data set, how we build stories and set up automation. And then dashboards, which are controlled access to viewed and predefined reports. And once these are set up, they're fully automated. And then I'll drop into a video Chat Harmony, which will show you the work we're doing with LLM and right now Chat GPT-4. So with that, I'm going to jump over to the demo. I'm going to quickly change my camera, I think. There we go. So right now, I'm just about to get into the project tree, but this is a landing page. It's a study we do for the country of New Zealand. They're looking at folks that are going into New Zealand, where they came from, how much money they spent, activities they may have done while they were in New Zealand. On the left is what we call our project tree. It's kind of logically set up based on all the questions in the questionnaire. Again, total access to all the data. And then the right is what we call the drop zone. So to start, a logical question, I'm going to start simple and then I'll get into the more of the automation. We'll build stories, but kind of understanding who is coming into the country. So I'm going to grab the top 10 markets, drag that across. That's 20 million records. And from here, I'm going to highlight the column heading. You'll notice that the menu popped down, and these are all the available options. So that process is automated, so I don't see the giant list of functionality. I just see what's relevant to me right now. And from here, I can recalculate my bases if I want to base it on something different than the total. But for me, what I want to do now is a quick sort. So I did a sort, and I can see that Australia is the most important country. From here, might want to do a visualization. Let's do the polarizing chart type of donut chart. So I can quickly see that Australia is a very important market. And from here, I'm going to add it to my stories, and this kind of starts to build out the automation component. So I'm going to add a new story. It's called Greenbook. Save that. And here I can even add in, comments if I want to. Australia is important, for example. And submit that. And then this just helps you have 50, 100 slides in here to understand what you were talking about. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and just turn it back to a table. Let's see this information as time series information. I'm going to grab quarter, drag that across. It's kind of tough to understand, but I'm going to change this to a line chart, and I'm going to go ahead and add a trend within there. It'll automatically fit that trend line. I'm going to expand my time period. So now I can see the share of visitors from Australia to New Zealand is on a decline. So that's interesting. I'd also add significance testing in there. It defaults to prior, but I want to look at this versus prior year. It's quarterly data, so when I change that to a 4, automatically updates. And what this is telling me is 37% is significantly higher than the 34% a year ago. And I'm going to go ahead and add that to my Greenbook story. So next is getting into some more fun analytics. It's what we call our smart analytics. And it's leveraging Bayesian statistics to kind of give a differentiation of either a brand or, in this example, a market. And it's looking at the entire data set. So let's go back into these different markets. I'm going to open up the 10 markets. I'm just going to grab the US. And when I drag it to Discover, it's going to tell me what differentiates Americans going into New Zealand. So they're most likely to go to a geothermal park, stay 11 to 13 days or nights. Thankfully, they're not driving from here to New Zealand. They're going to go on some sort of a quality tour, stay at a B&B or a hotel. So that's pretty interesting. And what our clients love is it's just so fast. It automates a very complicated process. It could take days, or they might not even do it. So that's kind of the benefit of that. And to visualize, there's some fun online visualization techniques. And I'm going to go ahead and add that to my story. But more importantly is the ability to expand that. So if you're thinking of these, the US as a country, if I wanted to add all the countries, I'm going to go ahead and replace that. And Canada is, the US is still my target, and Canada is the most similar to us, and it has very similar characteristics. I'm just going to go ahead and hide other, but it gives you a good flavor. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom, I won't do it on the video because it gets a little buggy, but or like gets blurred. But I'll keep that at that. Another, I can go to that to my current story. Another smart, diving into fair share. So understanding if your brand is getting their fair share. Again, something that can be done in a fair amount of time, but we've automated the whole process. I'm going to grab, again, those 10 markets. That's my across. And I want to understand the fair share of different behaviors. So I'm going to get reason for visiting New Zealand as my down. Go back into my modify menu. There's two ways of looking at fair share. I can look at the absolute percentage, which is I find difficult to see, but I'm going to look at the change or the fair share difference. And then I'm going to go ahead and visualize that to make it easier to see. I'm just going to collapse that into a stack. And from here, I can see that Australia is getting less than their fair share of holiday visitors, whereas like China is getting more than their fair share. And this could kind of inform your research further to dig into what's going on with Australia to understand why they're not getting their fair share of holiday shoppers. So it's just another way of automating the research process. Go ahead and add that to my story. Another super handy automation is around search, and typically the clients always have these super complex questionnaires, and being able to search the entire questionnaire is good. So if I want to look at, say, total expenditures or how much money is being spent, it pops up. I'm going to grab total, then I just type in by, and I'll look at top 10 markets. It comes up and oops. And it's going to automatically populate this table. And from here, I can do a heat map to see if there's anything that pops out. There's something interesting going on with Germany. So I'm going to highlight this because it'd be nice to just chart what's interesting. And I'm going to go to visualize. And I'm going to do a horizontal stack. I can even sort again. I even highlight within the legend, and the menu automatically gives me the options I can reference. And I'm going to do a sort again. So again, Germany is spending loads of money, and it's just one quick way of identifying that within the data set. Another quick function within Harmoni that helps a little bit of work in the setup, but it's still easy in the setup, and you don't have to go back to the supplier to get this set up, but being able to set up your own constructions within the data. So if I go into, which I just did that really quick. If I go into my origin and create a new axis, let's create a new region. I hit enter, it opens up, let's just call this North America, NA. It's going to open up and within the editor, I can use Boolean language, or I can just do simple combinations. So in this example, I really want to just look at the countries that are in North America. So I'll grab Canada and grab US. And I'll save that expression, and it's going to create that custom calculation in my tree that I can use in the future. The nice thing is when we do an update in the data, it automatically appends or pulls in that region classification as well. So we've talked a lot about like building stories, and now I want to go in and show you stories. At the top, I just click on the story view, and these are all the things that we built. So the donut chart with the comments. And this is really handy if you want to share this. So I can click on this tab and I can share it with Bridget and say, hey, Bridget, can you look at this? This is my initial take on what's going on in New Zealand. She can open it up. She can add and collaborate on this story. She can even go in and change changes to the story if I make her an owner of the story. I can download individual slides into editable PowerPoint, or I can download the entire story of PowerPoint, and it includes the data, so it's native PowerPoint. I can also download tables into Excel. And from here, this is where when updates are made, these stories are updated, and this is also how I can build dashboards. I'm not going to build a dashboard right now. I'm going to go into examples of specific dashboards. So here's a study we do for New Zealand Transport Agency. There's multiple studies with multiple agencies. I'm going to dig into cycling and walking dashboard. And the landing page is very simple, just images that make the look and feel of NZ Transit Agency, but KPIs. So 36% of the population feel that they're safe in the cycling lanes. And if I want to dig in deeper, there's additional navigation, and this can all be completely customized to your look and feel. But if I look at perception of safety, it's going to give into their dashboard page. So folks that feels it's safe for their kids to walk to school and safe for their kids to bike to school, and even leveraging the Discover methodology I talked about a little bit earlier, but going in and seeing, what makes up the folks that feel it's safe for my child to walk to school. They tend to be male, 65 years of age and over, et cetera. So just another way of automating on a monthly basis what's going on in the data. A second example dashboard is work we do with Auckland Transit. It's public transportation, their customer experience monitor. There's 3 separate programs. There's a bus, a train, and a ferry CX program. In this example, I can just go in and say, look at, what's the profile of the standard bus rider, 57% are female, and then navigate further into, where are they coming from or where are they going. And the nice thing is, I talked about building stories earlier on our own. within the dashboard, the viewers can build their own stories. So if I find something interesting within this one story, I can add it to my story. In the earlier dashboard I showed you with the 5 different projects, I can even create stories across the 5 different projects. So, month end, I can pull up my story view, and automatically I have, a very nice presentation across 5 different views. So it's super time saver. Some work we do with combining multiple sources of data for Hyundai, but it's pulling in kind of sales data as well as other survey data. Now I want to quickly change to a video work we're doing with what we're calling Chat Harmony and LLM. I need to turn off my microphone really quick.
Harmony allows people to analyze data by simply dragging and dropping and creating crosstabs, tables, and charts. And these become the basis for which AI insight can be drawn. When that analysis is added to a Harmony story, it can be viewed, it can be renamed, but more importantly, it can have commentary applied. Usually this is where the analyst will assign some of their own commentary. In this case, boring old human commentary. However, using our new AI Insight option and the power of large language models, we're able to generate a commentary on the fly based on this data set that encompasses the perspective of a researcher. So the prompts here are really driven around creating a helpful analysis commentary. And then further to that, we can start a dialogue, in this case, with the 3 takeaways from this commentary, thus allowing for a short summary of the 3 takeaways from this particular analysis on the screen. We always have the option here to copy and paste and submit this commentary to be part of this view. So when it is exported from the platform or other members of your audiences view it, they can see that. And as you can see, as we move here through the other views, this AI-generated commentary can be applied, shown, and ultimately exported from any one of those views that has been created. Because of the AI Insights option, we do have the ability to have an ongoing conversation with data as well. So rather than generating a standard one-off commentary, we can now start to talk about this data from the perspective of things that are available on screen and potentially those that aren't. So in this case, doing a netting on the fly, asking about sample of people under 55, while not appearing directly in the data, the language model has been able to do the calculations to work that out, effectively creating a net and letting us know that 42 people of the sample are under 55 years of age. Of those people in China and New Zealand, how many are under 35 in age, but also right-handed? So here again, looking at handedness, the second part of this data table, age, the top part, and also country, which is the banners going across. The language model is able to analyze this data, do its various calculations, and ultimately draw a conclusion here, which can be really helpful to the researcher, effectively creating some netting on the fly and also looking at the data to come up with our final answer here. 8 people who are under 35 in age are also right-handed from China and New Zealand in the sample. And then finally, taking the highest age group and the lowest age group, which countries make up, which countries are represented the most by these groups. So again, asking further information about the data and also assuming that we're doing an analysis across the data set that is available here. Now, as we can see here, that as the language model goes through its various calculations, it does show the evidence of those so that we can do a validity and sanity check on that information. Thank you so much for your time. We're excited to get this in the hands of all users. coming soon.
Yeah, thank you. It's very exciting for the work we're doing with large language models. Send it back to the slides and taking any questions if we have questions now, Bridget, assuming my microphone's back up and running.
Yep, your microphone's good. Awesome. So if you have any questions, just as a reminder, you can drop them in that Q&A box. But to kick things off, what type of data can Harmoni load?
Yeah, so that you can, on the survey side, it's Excel, SPSS, MDD, DDF, but to pull in traditional survey research. But we're also, we also Excel for other types of data. It's very common, like in a brand tracking study, to bring in addition to your research data, but bringing in GRPs or weather, if weather is something that impacts your business, so that can all be seen within the same project. And it's very, very common to have multiple data sources within a single project, or like you saw in that one dashboard, the multiple projects on one platform. It's kind of like a central location for multiple studies.
Thank you. Can you create your own variables?
Yeah, I did that a bit with the when I created the region. In addition to creating regions, you can leverage Boolean logic to create things such as segments. All clients have segments, it seems. So they always like to be able to, look at the specific data and slice and dice it by the segment. So they don't have to, that doesn't have to be generated in the original data set. It can be created within Harmoni.
Does Harmoni harmonize data across data sets? So for example, if an age question is saved as age in dataset 1 and as age_question in dataset 2, can it recognize these as semantically equivalent questions?
Yeah, you can map them when you're pulling in the separate data sources. It's like, if that person specifically wants to see it in action, I can definitely show. But it'll pull, technically what it does, it initially pulls it in as 2 different age questions, but then you can clean it up in the tree and give them common names. It'll keep the source name, but it'll collapse it down into age. And then when you do subsequent waves, it automatically pulls them together.
Great, thank you. And one last question here. What is your timing on Chat Harmony?
I ask that same question almost every day, but it's currently in production. We're doing some testing with end clients. It's on a test server, but as far as I know, it's coming soon. I haven't been given the specific, but we get asked that question all the time.
Awesome, that'll be exciting. Well, that's all we've got for this session. Thank you, John, so much, and thanks to our attendees for being here. We'll see you over in the next session.
Great. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.